What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Citizen JB, and today this is going to be something entirely different than I normally do on on my content on my channel. And this is in regards of basically what has been happening in the gaming industry and gaming as a whole. And I'm sure that this has been discussed or have been other YouTubers making videos, probably maybe similar to what I'm doing here. But what I really want to discuss here, so my apologies on this, is that I want to talk about a thread, really. It's more of a topic. I always end up finding that it's a big topic. It's about basically you can't appeal anyone very much anymore when it comes to gamers specifically or gamer consumers, much like myself. And this is also has something to do in the regards of the new trailer breakdown of Star Wars Outlaws, which we eventually got yesterday. Along before that, we had the official trailer for the game that is going to be releasing this year in August 30th of 2024. And so I guess what I'm really trying to get to here, so my apologies as well, is that what I'm trying to say is that the reason why we can't appeal, the reason why we can't really have gamers, we can't make gamers happy anymore. I'm not saying me. I'm saying the game industry seems to be not gone stale, I would say. It's more on the lines of why gamers out there really think they need to say, well, this game looks trash because of Ubisoft. Or this game looks trash because like Rise of the Ronin made by Team Ninja. But here's the thing, okay? Ubisoft is indeed, I think that they are a good company. I understand that people are frustrated with, microtransactions and as such. And, even depending on Rise of the Ronin as well, because, that game got some flack from a lot of gamers out there because they're so used to like playing the Neo games and, well, Long Fallen Dynasty and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice or Ghost of Tsushima. But I guess what I'm trying to get to here as well is that the main topic of what I'm really trying to focus on here, so my apologies on this again as well, is that you can't appeal gamers anymore. And the reason why I say that is because everything is twofold. Everything is, it seems to me, it's like a bilateral type of thing because there are gamers going to be that will be satisfied to the utmost of what a game looks like, depending on trailers, depending on gameplay demos, and there are gamers on the other side of the spectrum to where it's like, well, this game looks trash. This game looks awful. It's like, what do I? This is what I truly think about this. This is the problem that I'm seeing. Okay, and I understand the frustration. I get it. I'm that way though too. But what I'm also trying to get to as well is that I really think it's the fact that beggars can't be choosers. That is one thing I've learned for many years as a gamer. And I've learned to appreciate games to the utmost and to the fullest of the extent of these games being made by these said popular companies, much like Ubisoft, much like Team Ninja, much like any other developer, like Massive Studio or Massive Games from Ubisoft. They are making Star Wars Outlaws, okay? And so I'm going to make a separate video on that for what the trailer breakdown for Outlaws and the trailer itself because I really want to talk about that game because I think that game is going to be utterly fucking amazing. Now, point being, I really think that people will just probably say, well, I think that you're just jumping into conclusions. I think you're just judging something for what you're already seeing. Be that as it may, but I strongly believe that yes, games can be downgraded. Games can be downgraded to the utmost of its graphical fidelity, its gameplay wise. It's everything what makes the game tick. It's everything what makes the game vibe to the fullest extent of gamers alike, and newfound or previous found, from gamers as well. I'm sorry, that was kind of weird. But point being, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying I really think when it comes to anything, whether if it's movies, video games, or whatever, dude, you can't make gamers happy anymore. Gamers are not happy anymore because of this specific reason. And I, for one, I'm sorry to say this, I'm sick of it because, like I said, like I said, I get it because I'm that way though too. And so I'm just saying, I think it's a really stupid way to think. Why I think that it's a very stupid idea, or a profound stupid idea as well at the same time, to judging something that the game's not even out yet, but you can judge it to the full extent of the game itself because of what you see in a trailer or a gameplay demo, which is fine. But here's the thing. When games are being made, this is one thing I thoroughly understand as well, and this is one thing I've thoroughly been able to analyze to the full extent of gaming history, is that I'm not sounding as a professional. It's coming from a gamer that's literally understanding of what makes a game viable. What makes a game is how it's going to be sensualized, how it's going to play, what the context is, what the story is going to be like, what the gameplay elements are going to be like. But even then, it's like I said, it's the judgment there. What I'm saying though too is that there's always a rush to judgment. That's one thing that I think a lot of gamers out there, including me sometimes, I was very skeptical with it when it came to Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, because I have always been a huge fan of the Far Cry games, right? I was mystified of how Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora was. But here's the thing: it did felt more like of a Far Cry, even though that it's kind of like Pocahontas in space and first person shooter aspect, right? So that's what I'm saying, is that again, it's the fact that we're always hung up on games that we're thoroughly excited for. And then when the game comes out, those expectations are much lower because you put your expectations much higher when the game initially came out. And then when you start playing the game, and then when you finally finish it, you're like saying, oh, wow, this game is actually really, really good. I didn't think it was going to be all that great. Because it was the fact of how much of a rush to judgment that you are willing to put ahead of before the game even came out. See, that's what I think that's the deal. I really thoroughly think that. And I'm sure I'll probably get some flack from this. But you know what? I don't care. The reason why I make this type of content is because I like putting my own opinions out there. I am not afraid of voicing my opinions. I am not afraid of what people might say. But you understand where I'm going with this. And the point being is that, like I said, I am sick and tired of the toxicity. And yet it still exists. And it's always going to be that way. But I just think it's silly. It's stupid. But like I said, I get it. I understand. I'm that way though too sometimes. I thoroughly admit it. But again, I really think that Star Wars Outlaws is going to be an amazing game. I'm going to admit one thing right now, okay? I played through Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Loved it, okay? I did not play all the way through of Jedi Survivor. And here's one thing I will admit here too, along with that other admitting option that I just put out, my apologies, is that while I did like Jedi Survivor, I think that in a way, it felt a little too much. I guess I put my expectations a little too high for it. And then once I delved into that game, I'm just like, you know what? I do like this game. I do like these types of games. But I do feel like that sometimes making a game too open world, much like Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's a much denser and more expansive, broader approach to a certain degree of its open worldness or non-linear open worldness, but it's still open world, right? But that's what I'm saying. I think that Jedi Survivor, I don't know. It's kind of weird that way. But all I can say is this. I just want to make my opinion and come across as to how I really truly feel about this. So, but anyways, so much further ado. This is Jake from Citizen JV. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. And you guys have a good rest of your week.